Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today I'm going to be doing a tag video. I'm pretty excited about this tag. I'm going to be doing the reader problems tag, and I was tagged by my best friend, Lindsay. I like how I went super country there. I was tagged by Lindsay to do this tag, and I'm really excited to jump right into it. So let's just get started. The first question is, let me read it off my phone. You have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? And if you've watched Lindsay's tag video, then you will know her answer to this. Mine is kind of similar. I have a spreadsheet of all the books that I have that read. 20,000 is a lot, so I don't know if I'd have a spreadsheet, but if I did, that's where I would go first, is try to pick books off there. If not, ask anyone who talks to me what book to read next. Sometimes I'll pick a pile of books, like I have 5, and I'm like, Mom, choose which one. My brother, Grant, it's my brother, choose one. Or I'll call Lindsay and say, Lindsay, which one should I read? So yeah, so basically I ask anybody who will listen to me which book I should read, and then I shoot them down. I'm like, no, I don't want to read that one, I don't want to read that one. And then I kind of do some internalizing. Which one do I want to read? Well, which one should I read? Which one sounds best to read? Which one do I want to make a video about first? So all these things play a huge part in my thinking of what to pick out, so hopefully I could knock out that TBR by asking my friends and family what to read next. And hopefully they'll tell me and not get sick of me. 20,000 is a lot. Number 2, you're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? This is an easy one for me. I quit. I quit most of the time. Sometimes I will skim read and finish it. 90% of the time I quit. I do not finish books I don't want to read. I don't have the time for it. I'd rather spend my time reading books I do want to read. Number 3, the end of the year is coming and you're so close but so far away on your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try to catch up, and how? Okay, so this is hard for me because I don't have experience with this. I've only had a Goodreads, why can't I say that? A Goodreads reading challenge once, and that was this year, and I've already passed it. So, I don't know what I would do. I'd try to pass it. I'm committed to that reading challenge. I want to stay ahead. So what I'd probably do is buy a whole bunch of really fast romance novels and read them like one back to back. And hopefully that would catch me up. Otherwise I would read one of the 20,000 books that I have and try to just read as much as I can to finish it. Finish my TBR pile, because 20,000, my mind is still blown. 20,000, okay. Number 4, the cover of the covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? How do I cope? First, I get really angry about it, like, why did you do that? Do not do that to me again. I hate you, publishers. Do not change my covers. And then, like, usually the cover comes out, 6 months to a year before the book comes out, so then I go back on my wish list and I keep looking at it and I stew about it and I get really upset about it. And then when the book comes out, it's really usually pretty. Like, even though the covers are different, it's pretty. So then I'm just like, okay, internalize it, breathe deep, end it, put it on my shelves. It's good to go. I'm not super particular about covers matching. I'm more particular about size. OCD. See, OCD. Size like that bothers me, and I just noticed it today. So the size of books is what I am more interested in, so I try to buy them all in the same format. Yeah, that was not the question. Number 5 is, everyone and their mother loves a book you really don't like. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? This is a hard question because I would hope to, like, maybe bond with a subscriber over it, or, reach out on Twitter about it, or I'm not one to, like, blatantly share my opinion, especially if I don't like a book. I just find it so negative to, like, come out and say I hated that book, it was awful, like, don't read it. I just don't like that. So I'm more in the opinion of, like, if they love it, more power to them. It wasn't something I enjoyed. So usually, if I'm being completely honest, I go to my friends, mostly Lindsay, because I can pretty much tell Lindsay the reasons why I hated it, and she won't judge me, and she'll, like, talk me through it and kind of make me and Lindsay get into these arguments, right? Not arguments, these discussions. And Lindsay tries to change my opinion on a lot of things, and so she'll probably just keep throwing things at me, like, for example, we did this with Throne of Glass. I did not like Throne of Glass. It was not something that I enjoyed, and I think a lot of it was mood and what I just read before it, so those two things played a huge factor. But I was talking to Lindsay about it, and I kept, I kept saying things like, you know, I didn't like that she blushed all the time. I didn't like that there was a prince involved. I didn't like that. She just kept saying why, and we kind of came to the conclusion of why, and it was awesome because then I had like concrete reasons why I didn't like it, and I was no longer like, I didn't like it and I feel guilty about it. So Lindsay's the person I go to, and sometimes like I have Voxer and I have a lot of friends on Voxer, so sometimes I'll just, you know, hit up Voxer and say, hey, did you guys enjoy this book? Because I really didn't like it. And if they say yeah, then I go to Lindsay. If someone says no, then I'm like, I'm gonna send you a message and tell you why I didn't like it, and we can talk about it. So yeah, that is usually what I do. Number 6, you're reading a book and you're about to start crying in public. How do you deal? How do I deal? Usually I like close the book and kind of just move it away and deep breathe. Deep breathe. I don't like crying in public. Sometimes it depends on the situation. If I'm like in the library hanging out, you know, at school or something, or you know, I'm in a more quiet place where there's not really a lot of people around and I'm just kind of chilling, then I'll be okay and I'll just cry a little bit. But if I'm like in a really public place, I don't like being in public anyway. I'm kind of like anyway, so I would probably just kind of put the book away and wait, especially if I know something sad's gonna happen. Like 99% of the time I close the book and I just put it away because I don't want to start on the journey and I don't want to start crying. So yes, like if anyone watched me, if anyone saw me read the end of Hero of Ages, or you know, The Darkest Minds, or books like that, abort. Number 7, a sequel of a book you love just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Will you reread the book, skip the sequel, try to find a synopsis on Goodreads, cry in frustration? What do I do? I'd probably reread the book. I'd check BookTube and see if Christina's made a book talk on the first book. That helps me a lot because her book talks are really informative and they hit on a lot of the parts that happen, main parts and stories, so I definitely check there first. If not, I'll reread it depending on what the sequel is and how invested I was in it. Like if I have feelings where I was like, this is just alright, then I probably won't pick it up. If I had feelings like, man, I really liked that but I couldn't remember why, then I'll go pick it up and reread it. And yeah, I try to do that. Yeah, synopsis don't work for me. They might like refresh my memory, but I've never completely forgotten what a book was about. I usually remember key parts that I really enjoyed and I forget everything else. So yeah, I'd probably reread the story. I like rereading books. Number 8, you do not want anyone borrowing your books. How do you politely tell people nope when they ask? I don't know. I don't have friends that read in real life. Like, I don't have real life friends that I can just, oh jeez. Dang it, Sarah, keep hitting the camera. I don't have friends that read in real life, so I don't have friends that just come over and say, Sarah, can I borrow that book? My brother does a little bit, and it kind of, he breaks spines, so sometimes I'm like, no, but he's my brother, so I can just literally beat him up if he says yes and takes it, so that's not a big deal. And I can't beat up my brother, he's 6'5", I can't beat up my brother. That was a joke. I used to be able to beat him up. Anyway, yeah. What was I saying? That was hilarious. And sometimes my mom will borrow books from me, but again, she breaks spines, so sometimes I'm like, be really careful, mother, don't break my spine, and then she'll do it anyway, and I just like, whatever. So family's different. Friends, if I had a friend come over and ask for a book that I really liked and they wanted to borrow it, I'd just say, you know, I'd say, it's not really that good, you don't want to read that one. And they'll say, Sarah, but you raved at me to read it, can I just please borrow it? And I'll be like, yeah, but, you know, like, I think I'm gonna read it later, so it's probably not a good idea that you read it, so, yeah. I don't know what I would do. I'd just let them borrow it. I'm a pushover. They can borrow it. They can break it. Whatever. That was a hard question. Number 9, reading ADD. You've picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? The best way I get over my reading slumps is to read a Kristen Ashley novel or listen to an audiobook. Those are like 2 things that I go to. Like if I can't read, listen to an audiobook and it just pulls me right out of it. Oh, also I watch a lot of BookTube because BookTube makes me motivated to read. Lots of book hauls, lots of reviews, lots of wrap-ups and TBRs. Those are things that I just automatically are my go-to if I'm having a book slump. And Kristen Ashley novels help me a lot. They help me a lot. Though sometimes I get sucked in and I can't stop reading her books. Number 10, there are so many new books coming out. There are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? right? Currently now, I wouldn't buy any because I'm in the whole one book. Shh, don't tell anybody. Jeez, guys, I know. But Book Outlet was having this Black Friday sale. I couldn't not buy books, and I only could buy 2, and I bought 4, so... Actually, I think I could have bought 3, and I bought 4, but... So, I would definitely buy, the ones that I know I'm gonna immediately pick up. That's how I decide. Like, if I'm gonna pick it up right away, best believe I'm gonna buy it. Like, if it's the, you know, the next Starlight Archive book, it's definitely gonna be in my hands the day it comes out, and I don't care. And if it comes out with, you know, a Kristen National novel and, you know, other books and series that I want to read, then I definitely have to sacrifice and pick just the ones I want to read, especially on the budget that I have. So yes. Number 11, after you've bought the new books, you can't wait to get to. How long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? Like I already kind of talked about that, but if we're talking about past things like pre-book buying ban, sometimes it could be a while. I don't like to finish series, so if it's the end of the series, usually it sits on my shelf for a while, unless if it's, you know, ones that I just really want to read. But yeah, I kind of am in the mood to just buy books that I know I'm gonna read, so hopefully I didn't buy a whole lot that I had to read, because 20,000 on my TBR, guys, 20,000. Like, it makes me overwhelmed just hypothetically. Like, it makes me really overwhelmed to think of that hypothetical situation. 20,000 books. Okay. Anyway, that's all I really have for this video, guys. Let me know down below some of the answers to these questions. Like, I really am interested to know what you guys would do if you had to read a book while crying in public, because that's not something that happens to me, so I definitely want to see what you guys do if you were reading a book and it makes you cry in public. What do you do? And was another one that I wanted you guys to know. There was another one. Oh, God. Now I have to go back and look at the questions. Oh yeah, number 8. You don't want anyone borrowing your books. How do you tell them nope? How do you tell them no way, Jose? How do you tell them nada? Not gonna happen. How do you tell them not gonna happen? You're not borrowing that book. Because that's not my personality, so give me some ideas to do in case someone does come in my room and says I want that book, and I'm like looking at my comments. Just let me know down below what you guys would do so I can have some inspiration on how to deal with that situation. Anyway, that's all I really have for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!